Welcome back to another episode of Vintage Survival. Alright, we have a ton of stuff to do that we can't put on workers and need to get done as quickly as possible. Two of the jobs are sitting right here in front of us. One is mowing our little patch here, and the other one is, well, I guess we could put this one on a worker, sort of, maybe. But that field directly in front of us needs to be chaff harvested for over 8 grand of a contract. Now, of course, I spent 5 grand grabbing the cutter header there for our forage harvester, but we needed one anyway. Maybe. So, yeah, I think it was a good investment. And if any more chaff contracts come up, we're already set. We have both headers now, so we can do as many of them as we want, regardless of the crop type. We do have workers all over the map doing their jobs. What else? Yeah, we have another new purchase as well to bring home from the store, which you'll see here in a little bit, because that's our next job that we have to do that we can't put on AI. The harvester is out doing some buckwheat harvest contracts again. Unfortunately, the tractor, the Massey tractor that I want to put on the trailer again, is temporarily unavailable. Well, was temporarily unavailable. It was doing a lime contract, but it looks like now it might be finished. So I just need to put that on AI to send it back here. Let's do that real quick. Hey, now, hey. Glad I checked through. Yeah, that allows him to sneak past. Perfect. Oop, there's your sneak preview of what's coming next. This guy needs to head back to the farmyard. Preferably with this guy getting out of his way. Perfect. Alright, so I'm going to crack on with all my jobs on a nice time lapse for you guys. And I will see you when that is done. I hope. Fingers crossed nothing else breaks in the meantime. I guess before I trot home with this thing, I forgot to tell you that I did record a clip of purchasing this, even though it was at the tail end of the previous episode. I will insert that clip right here. that disappointing. This is literally designed to work with this. See the brand there? But it's not hooking up correctly. If I go in here, into my garage, look at the brand on my forest headers, or forager headers. FS60, I mean, yeah. And the harvester, look. I mean, it's also far, but... So, I'll be back briefly if I can find another header that actually hooks up correctly. Otherwise, I will abort this job and we'll go do something else. So after much fooling around and figuring things out, this is what we came up with. Complete machine swap for one that works, that is basically the same sort of vintage, and unfortunately the cost was a bit more, and I had to fudge that a little bit. It's fine. Here we are. So I'm back at it. I am concerned. We're at the end of our day, at the end of our contract. So I've stopped the clock just to keep the daylight for this. For the visual for you guys. But I am concerned that there's not enough in here to complete the contract. Because it said 53% delivered the last time. So I think this chaff contracting is just calculated completely wrong. Yeah, that is... Well, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm going to do about it, because I did the work, so I am going to get paid for this. We're just going to use easy dev controls to refill the old wagon here. Chaff. Fill. And we'll just refill it over and over and over again until we have delivered the required amount for the contract. And then if there's anything left, we will empty it, leaving ourselves a few thousand liters. Just because we should have had some left over based on how contracts work in the game. So yeah, I'm not sure. I know I lost a little bit here and there when I didn't catch it right away that I was full and I cut down some extra crop, but not this much. Each one of these wagons is over 20,000 liters, so there's just no way. I'll have to look at the math in the mod that gives us that contract type. At least I don't think that's base game unless it's new. But I didn't see anything about it. Oh my goodness. Alright, I'll see you guys again in a minute. Alright, I missed the ending of this because I was going to find out what had happened to our lone driver that was still supposed to be doing a delivery that hadn't done it. Well, he was stuck, so I unstuck him. And of course missed the ending. We were... By the time I noticed that it said contract complete and I jumped back over, this is what we had left out of the last load, so this is what we're keeping. It's close enough to what I was thinking. It's about 1,000, 1,500 over. So, yeah. I guess this is a good time to jump in here. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Alright, we're back up to 45,000. That is not bad at all. Now, the remaining contract and, as you also may have noticed, the times are back. That is because the mod for that got updated, which of course means I need to re-edit the mod to set it to not have any times at all. And I forgot. That's alright. I'll fix that for the next session. For now, we're just gonna deal with it. There will be a little bit of time left on that contract in the morning, and I will just fix the time with whatever next contract we take first thing in the morning. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the day's work. That was a much longer time lapse than I was intending. I think it was about 40 minutes worth of up and down on that field and driving to and fro. So I was definitely going to get paid for it. Uh, in fact, it took so long. I'm tired. I've been recording for about 20 minutes longer than I had intended to be. Um, Not just due to that, but due to other factors. Because with the time set on 10, you have a, basically a fixed amount of time for the day, right? So, but I got interrupted a few times. So, yep, that's all right. That is the world of a content creator. Little behind the scenes for you. So we do not currently own a mulcher. I was trying to get through all the other contracts in order to get the money for a mulcher, but I'm not sure there even is a vintage mulcher available. We can check real quick. Let's see. I don't remember exactly what it's under. Mulchers. Okay, apparently there are some mods installed. Ah, yes. I have no idea what this is or why it's installed. That does not look that vintage to me, so we're going to ignore that. And cultipackers have been around for a very long time, but as I recall, this didn't work. I'll test it again, but I swear we already owned that once and it didn't work, which would just leave this guy. And no, definitely no. All right, so you're probably wondering why I kept the chaff instead of just letting it go for extra money. The answer to that one is pretty simple. One of the things we're going to put on our little grass plot that we mowed up there is going to be a silage pit, because we're going to need silage for the old cows. So that is the plan. All right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, that is something that we need to look into real quick before I end the episode. How much is that guy worth? 7 grand, close to 8. Once I take it to the shop and repair it and repaint it before I turn it in. And that thing again. The game really wants me to have this. All right. However, so we have the D19, and that was, how is it valued more than? Don't ask them questions. Don't ask them questions. Come on, where's the D21? I want to replace it with the D21. Okay. There we go. So that's 20 grand. Um, yeah, we aren't going to go for a cheater horsepower on it. So it's going to be 22 by the time we can figure it all out. No. There we go. Big old wide singles. back to the start. All right. Well, we know what we're going to do. We'll be trading that in. I don't know why that came up, but sure. We'll be trading it in. I might go for the anniversary. Ooh, that one can have a cab, because this one cannot. The industrial, no cab. Yeah, let's go for the anniversary version. So it'll be a little bit more even, another 600 because of the cab. I like it though. Alrighty, and on that note, with this hideous tractor sitting in front of us, I'd like to thank you all for watching, and as always, I will see you on the next one.